right, even as we have seen reports of suicide in schools that are only going up as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. The latest breaking input coming in of a school in Coimbatore that has now sparked a controversy by allegedly asking parents to sign an indemnity bond that states that the management or the teachers will not be responsible for whatever happens to the students inside the campus area. This indemnity bond is allegedly issued to parents from the GRD Public School in Coimbatore. The indemnity form states that I undertake and I agree that neither I nor my executor or administrators or any other legal heirs are responsible or take claim against the GRDP or any other person of the school in respect to any loss of life or injury to property as well. My colleagues Prapanch and Pratibha now join us live on this broadcast. Prapanch, to you first before we go back to Pratibha. This is an indemnity bond being issued to the students studying in a particular school in Coimbatore where they do not want to seek responsibility with the cases of suicide that are only growing in the state.
Now, this particular letter came in after reports of suicide were reported across Tamil Nadu. A couple of suicides in past 2 weeks. Now, when we tried to contact the school authorities, people from the office had in fact claimed that this particular letter is not compulsory for the parents to sign. But however, this does confirm that such letter was issued to the parents, because even though if it is not compulsory to sign, but it was in fact released to the parents, issued to the parents. Now we can see that this particular letter is an indemnity bond, and we can see this is at the backdrop of two suicides, because in Kallakurichi when the alleged suicide had taken place, subsequently we could see that the whole school was ransacked after peaceful protest, couple of days of peaceful protest. On 17th we could see the whole school was ransacked. Now even today we could see in Tiruvallur district a student allegedly committed suicide, and now we could see that a heavy police is deployed in front of the school, around the school, and also at the general hospital where the body of the deceased girl is placed, and there it is kept for post-mortem. So now we can see that.
All right, Prapanch, continue to be with us. In fact, Brinda Adege also joins us on this broadcast. Brinda Adege, your first response to this latest diktat or an indemnity bond being issued to the students studying in a Coimbatore school, where they are now stating that they are not responsible if such an act or any harm is being placed on the students studying in their schools.
How dare a school, an educational institution, issue this kind of a bond at all? On what grounds? What is the kind of law that they are following? If they cannot take responsibility for the child, and if they cannot take responsibility for the protection of this child, then why are they running a school? Maybe they should just shut down and move out. Let the government run it. They have no right to sit there handling that school. If they cannot be responsible for the child's protection, the child getting hurt in school, or the child being traumatized in school, what is the government, what is the management of that school doing? Are they puppets? This is unacceptable. I hope the government swoops down on these people and tells them move out. You can have an administrator from the government over there and throw these people out because they are unworthy. They are supposed to be handling children in an educational institution, taking responsibility for every minute the child is inside the school.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brinda Adege, for joining us here on this broadcast. Let me also now take this to Pratibha, joining us with that indemnity bond sheet. Yes, Pratibha, what exactly has been written here?
So, Richa, first case was reported from Kallakurichi, the second from Tiruvallur. In both the cases, the students took the extreme step. In the first case, we know that the student said that she was facing a lot of pressure from the school, so she named the school management. In Tiruvallur, as of now, the police investigations have not revealed the same. But in both the cases, there were protests, a lot of anger from the parents as well. So action being taken, and this is in the Coimbatore school. What is the action being taken? Not anything to protect the students of the school, not to ensure their safety. The action that has been taken is the school washing its hands of any kind of responsibility that comes its way. This is the indemnity bond. We've accessed this, and it says very clearly, I undertake and agree that neither I nor my executor or administrators or other legal heirs, representatives will make and claim against the GRD PS, that is the GRD Public School,
Yes.
or any other person of the school.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Pratibha. We're also joined by America Narayan on the phone line. And Mr. Narayan, how would you respond to this indemnity bond for being issued to the students in this particular school in Coimbatore, where they now say that they agree and understand that no compensation or in fact any kind of way will be paid to the school or by any person or employee of the school, and they are not held responsible if there is any hurt to property or any student of their school?
Vanakkam. The point is, the school or the administration or the government cannot wash the responsibility by getting an indemnity bond. The reason being, if they are negligent, there are certain things that you have to follow. In spite of that, things happen. It's quite understandable. It does happen. Then it's understandable that you can ask for, making sure that you are not liable. The schools, if they fail to do, like in this case of Kallakurichi, where they did not have the permission, they didn't do what they are supposed to do prudently by every person, then they cannot wash off irrespective of whatever they can get signed off. They have a legal, moral liability. And I think it's time the society as a whole understand our responsibility to the students. The schools are properly administrated by the government. We need to ensure that there are people, the counselors are available for the school children and the parents. I think time has come. We need to review the entire thing when the suicidal things. More importantly, there seems to be the misadventure on the part of the management and people of authority like teachers who are abrogating and taking, not only abrogating, but taking advantage of the poor students, young children who have responsibility too. The society as a whole has to work on it, but
yes,
the schools cannot wash out the responsibility by forcing.
But Mr. Narayanan, how would the state government really react to such diktat or such indemnity bonds being made to sign by the students or the parents studying in their schools? Because they do send their students or their children with some sense of responsibility and even trust to these schools.
Is that the individuals act on their own, but it's time that the government takes responsibility and make sure they regulate the school better than what they have been doing. I'm not clearly there has been a failure of intelligence in Kallakurichi, but now I think the government has woken up. They have responsibility. They need to have a better supervisory and regulatory thing over the private, and not only private schools but also public schools. Let us not lose another child's life. It's too precious. The school system, as they say, the war is too important to be left to the generals. Similarly, the child's future is too important to be left to the school, private and public school administration. We, the people, through the government, has to take and make sure no other child's life is lost anymore.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Narayanan, for joining us here on this broadcast. Let me go back to Prapanch once again. And Prapanch, we also have a official police version coming in this regard. This is the SP of the district stating that this is allegedly a case of suicide by hanging. They are still investigating the matter. But before that, let me also now go across to Abha Singh joining us on this broadcast. Abha Singh, your first response to this indemnity bond being made to sign to these students, these children and parents studying in a Coimbatore school after we have been reporting a second such suicide case in the state in just 10 days.
Well, it is very tragic that a young girl has committed suicide in a school in Coimbatore. But what is worse, rather than solving the issue, rather than having classes of mental health or counseling, if the school is asking for an indemnity bond, forcing the parents to sign an indemnity bond, that if any...
Sorry to interrupt you there, ma'am, but we have a response coming in from the DMK spokesperson, Vijala. Ma'am, your response to the school's indemnity bond that is now shocking parents after we have been reporting two separate instances of suicides being reported. Here's a school now wanting children to sign indemnity and trying to wash off any responsibility.
Yeah, ma'am, this is really a reaction from not only the DMK but on the basis of a teacher. Myself as an academician, I know the psychology of the children. Actually, now they have been pressurized by not only the teachers, but it is mainly the parents. The parents, they wanted their children also to become a doctor. Their children also to become what they wanted them to be. So this is because of the pressure, the intense pressure is given by the parents. So they never estimate their children of how their real capabilities in the field is. Like identify the children, the child's real interest in the field, in a specific their capabilities, right? So everybody has got their own talent, so the talent has to be identified.
Ma'am, that does not justify this particular indemnity bond here, because here they do not want to take any sort of responsibility whatsoever for any injury caused or any fatal instances. What is the state government doing about this?
Because of the pressure given by the parents that their child has to study in the best school, the best ever, and also they spend a lot and they expect a lot from the children. Whereas the children are right from the beginning, they are actually tortured, not because of psychological torture. This is so because of this intense pressure, they are forced to go for this decision. So this is what is, as a teacher, I take this, and I'm not very sure that they got some bond or something, the signing of bond. I think most of the schools, they don't get like this bond structure. And in Tamil Nadu, there is
this has come into light after these two suicide cases have come to light in the state. For now, thank you, Vijala ma'am, for joining us here on this broadcast. Moving on to some more breaking news coming in as far as the Tamil Nadu School Education Minister, that is Anbil Mahesh, is concerned, who will now be visiting the school today in Thiruvarur after a class 12 student allegedly died by suicide. The case is still under investigation, and remember, the parents of the girl have now been demanding justice and action against the school administration. My colleague Prapanch once again joins us live on this broadcast. Yes, Prapanch, now we are expecting the Tamil Nadu Education Minister to be visiting the school.
That's right. Now we can see that morning the police had received input regarding this alleged suicide of a 12th standard girl, and subsequently you could see that the police had taken the complaint and the FIR would be filed, and that would be transferred to CBCID as per the recent Madras High Court orders. Now this case will be transferred to CBCID in some time. The police in fact had come out, and the SP had said that he went and visited the whole spot, and in fact they found in their preliminary investigation that this was a suicide by hanging. Now we could see that heavy police deployment has been put in place in front of the school as well as the general hospital in Tiruvallur, where the body is kept for the autopsy. Now we could see in some time the education minister also is likely to visit, because earlier we could see a similar incident in Kallakurichi. The minister had come. In fact, he had conducted a detailed inquiry regarding the case, and then he also met the media, and he assured action would be taken. And simultaneously now we could see that this is the second case in a couple of weeks time, and we will have to wait and watch what kind of an action that would be taken in this regard.
All right, thank you, Prapanch, for getting us that update, and we'll keep a close watch on the investigation further and what action is being taken against the school authorities, if any. Time for a quick break. We'll be back with the latest.